Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to see how to access resource params from the URL in WSO2's Enterprise Integrator. Let's get started. I'm at the integration studio now. So to start with, I'm going to create a Maven multi-module project. I'm just right clicking under the project explorer and selecting other, and I find Maven multi-module project here. Click on next. I'm going to name this artifact as sample 4. This is basically the project name. So I'm going to name it as sample 4 and then just click finish so that a new Maven multi-module project is created here. So the next step is to create an Esb project. Clicking on sample 4, new, and then Esb config project. Go for the default options, a new Esb config project. Click on next, and project name, I'm going to give sample 4 underscore ESB as the name of my ESB config project. Click on next, and then to select the parent from the workspace, click the checkbox and then select sample 4 as a parent. Click on finish to complete it. Now you can see ESB config project is created and you had a folder structure under that. Now today we are going to create an API and having resource parameters in its URL, and let's see how to access that from a sequence. So first thing is to create an API. Click on new, click on REST API, create a new API artifact, so that's a default option. Click on next. I'm going to name my API as sample4 API. I'm going to give the same as the context name. I'm leaving the version to none. Just click on finish. Your API is created now. It's the skeleton of the API. If you click on resource, and if you look at the properties tab of the resource, you can see that the URL style is none. Now you have different options here. For this particular video, we're going to select URI template. This allows you to define a template for the URL. So I'm going to define two parameters. So let's say first name, and then let's say I'm going to say last name. So these are the two resource parameters that will be passing in the URL, and then let's see how to access that within the sequence. So I'm going to leave it as a normal simple get method. So that configuration part is completed. Now we'll see how to access that. So to do that, I'm going to select a property mediator. So in property mediator, I'm switching to the properties tab and defining property. I'm just going to call it as resource 1. It's going to be of data type as string, and then the property action set, which indicates that I'm going to set a value. If you're going to hard code a value for that a particular variable, you can leave this option as literal, but now in our case it's going to be an expression, so I've changed it to expression. Now click on the value expression tab and then change the option to expression, and here I'm going to use get property function to access this value. So how are we going to access this? URI dot where dot f name. So this is your resource name that you have defined in the URI template. So I'm going to select this because I need the same pattern for the second one as well. Click on OK. Now I'm going to select another property mediator. This is for the second part. So again, clicking on the properties, I'm going to name this as res2, as resource 2, and then I'm selecting the expression, and then the value expression is going to be expression, and here instead of first name I'll give the last name. Now this is how you access a resource parameter within a sequence. Now to see it in action, I'm going to add a payload factory mediator and then to just output this value. So I'll just access these two parameters from the URL and just simply send an output, right? So I'm going to configure the payload factory, and then the media type is going to be JSON because my message is going to be a JSON response. I'm going to type my JSON response, let's say message, and the output is going to be $1, which is again a variable or an argument that we'll define at the bottom. Now here, this is a section where we have to configure the argument. So click on the add new element button, and then here in the argument type, select expression because we are going to have a dynamic value here. Now in the argument expression section, click on that and change the value to expression. Here I'm just going to concatenate both the properties that I defined in the previous mediators. So concat, here again I have to use a get property method. So this is going to be the final text. I'm just concatenating hello in front of the first and last name. So in short, what I'm doing is I'm getting the value of res1, which is a property which I defined in the property mediator, and just concatenating both the values that I saved before. Click on OK and click on finish. Now to send the response back, I have to use a response mediator. So I'm selecting a response mediator here, and that's it. Our API is ready. Now to deploy this API, I need to define a composite application project. For that, I'm clicking on sample4, which is a Maven multi-module project. Click on new and then other. Here I have to select composite application project. Click next. I'm going to give the name as sample4_car. Then I'm going to select the sample4. If you expand it, you can see that the API sample4 API selected. Click on next, check the specify parent from workspace button, and then select sample4 from here. Click on finish. Now it's ready for deployment. To deploy the car file, click on the server on the right side, right click, add and remove, and then select the sample4 car file, add it, and then finish. So the deployment is going on. Once the deployment is successfully completed, you can see the logs generated here, successfully deployed Carbon application. Now let's test it. I'm at the admin console, just logging into the admin console using the default credentials. If you click on the API section, you can see the new API deployed there. It's sample4 API. Selecting that. Now sample4 API was our context. Now we can give the resource parameters. So I'm going to give John Smith as a 2 variables. Then if I click enter, I should get a response, hello John Smith. So here inside the code, we extracted both the resource parameters and then we were able to send it out in the response. So that was a quick video about how to access resource parameters using WSO2's Enterprise Integrator. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you like the contents being published in this channel, please do subscribe so that the new contents that I publish here will reach you as a notification. Thank you so much for watching. Happy learning and have a wonderful day.